Hi everybody, it's Sue with Ully Cat's Designs and Ully Cat's World blog. And I'm here today with a process video for Craft Roulette, episode 241, whose parameters were a Z-fold card, scarecrow colors, a bake element, and crinkle inkle was the random. And I'm going to show you how I'm crinkle inkle. I've got a piece of decorative paper that actually, I've got about half of it done. And I'm taking just a piece of packaging and I'm scrunching it up, and I'm just kind of distressing the edges of the paper. And I'm using Distress Ink Age Mahogany. And this paper is from Stamporia, and it's the Winter Botanic set. So I've got two pieces of white cardstock. This one is 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, and this one is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I am going to go and score it at a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And I am going to do the same with this one. A 1/2 inch and 1 inch. I've cut apart a heart doily that I am going to glue on. For my decorative elements, I've got this piece of furniture, buffet, which is the bottom half of this Paper Discovery Cozy Kitchen 2D Perfect Die kitchen die set. So I've just cut off the bottom half. And this piece of trim here was just a leftover piece that I thought made a nice kind of overhang. This shelf piece and these two lights come from the Anna Griffin Slimline die mantle and fireplace dies. So the shelf is actually the top part of the mantle, and then these are the light sconces. The gingerbread and these other Christmas pudding and cakes come from the honeybee set, which is called Lovely Layers Hoosier Cabinet Holiday Add-on. So I've used a gold marker to color the cabinet knobs and the sconces. All of the mahogany colored is the Distressed Age Mahogany. I've used a white gel pen to put the details on the gingerbread house, and then Sharpie markers to decorate the puddings. I have a 3-pack of Easy Lights from Pear Blossom Press. When they come, you just have to gently break them apart, and we've got 3 lights that we can use. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my buffet cabinet onto its backing piece. And this is cut from a wood grain cardstock. I think it's by Memory Box. And it, as I said, it's just been inked, blended with Age Mahogany Distress Ink. I've got my basic layout for where these are going to go. And I've put some foam tape squares on the back of things. I've also made pencil marks where I need to punch in some holes for the lights. I'm just going to use an old ice pick that I have, although I know there's a number of other types of awls or piercing tools out there. Those should do just fine. So with the 2 pieces, there's just an idea of how that's going to go. So I've taken a pokey tool and poked holes through where the windows are. So you can kind of see how the lights go around. kind of wind all of those so that they can all just put a little bit of a notch there. I've cut a piece of white cardstock that I printed the word press on, is on ink, and that comes from the Pear Blossom Press stamp set. Put a little piece of double-sided tape, and that works. I've put a piece of foam tape on this side to balance out so that when this goes up, I'll have a little something extra to bump onto. And this is going to be one of those cards that will probably have to be hand-delivered. I will go ahead and glue. So I want to cover up the wires in back, but I don't want it to be real heavy. So I'm just going to use a piece of scrap paper, thin like copy paper, and I've got double-sided tape I'll peel back to hold it on. So I've covered the back. My wires are all covered up. I've cut an 11 by 4 1/4 sheet, scored it at 5 1/2, and again at 2 3/4, so that I end up with the Z-fold card. So this is my true Z-fold, and I've cut some decorative pieces to fit the back or the inside of those. And this is just more of that Stamporia Botanical Collection paper. I've taken another piece, this time brown, from the paper collection, and it's from a 12 by 12 sheet that I've cut to 12 and 5 1/2. I have scored it at 4 and at 8 and at 8 1/2 and at 3 1/2, so that I now have a piece that's going to be like this. I'm going to take our Z-fold, and on the solid bottom, I'm going to glue this piece onto that. This is glued on. The next stage is we'll glue this piece in. I've cut my greeting from the Poppy Stamps Lavish Merry Christmas, which is a 2-die set that cuts the background and then the letters. I've glued it up on a second layer of cardstock, and I've also popped it up on some thin foam squares. So now the trick is find the point where this will stay up but it won't flip back, and then to center it. And here's our finished card for Craft Roulette, episode 241, whose parameters were a Z-fold card, scarecrow colors, bake element, and crinkle inkle, which is a inking technique. So the way this card works is we pull out the card recipient experience sheet, or CRX sheet is what I like to call it. It says to untie the ribbon and open the flaps, and then prop open the easel with the stopper, and then press the button on the back to turn on the lights. So tie the ribbon, and we'll open up the flaps, and we'll set up the easel, and then we can press the button, or basically just squeeze the set, and we can see how the lights go on. The Z-fold card, again, is this part here. That's the central part, and I like to call this a Z-fold plus card, and the plus is because it's got these flaps on it. The scarecrow colors, first off, the straw is the yellow lights. The reds and the greens that are kind of all muted are the scarecrow clothes. The browns would be the dirt, and again the green would also be the plants that would be around in the field for a scarecrow. The bake elements are the Christmas puddings and the gingerbread house, and then the crinkle inkle was what was stamped piece of plastic onto what I call the wallpaper, and then also onto the back piece of Dining Room Buffet. And that is our card for this episode of Craft Roulette. I hope you've enjoyed learning how I made it, and I hope it provides you with some inspiration. We'll see you next Friday when Craft Roulette is live again. Bye-bye.